I'm gonna play the one on TikTok or YouTube.
Yeah, you play one on YouTube.
Combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have a $500,000 check signed by Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Y'all wonder why we worried about the money? This is why we worried about the money. $561,000 check with one signature on there. It's a problem.
Oh.
One of the biggest issues with the city girl mayor of Dolton, Illinois, besides her horrible, disrespectful attitude, is her reckless spending. This woman spends taxpayers' money like it's her own.
They do spend money like water, just being real.
Yet she's blocking employees who don't support her from getting raises, even if their direct supervisor and the board of trustees approved it.
People are walking on eggshells, so to speak. They're afraid to have an opinion about anything or to fulfill their duties.
Which was the reason why the deputy clerk originally filed the lawsuit before the city girl mayor came back and had the police harass her and illegally fired her, when the pork chop mayor had no authority to fire this woman, appointed by another elected official.
We gotta wrap this up. And we gotta score this should get your colors done.
She signed nearly $150,000 for a 2023 Chevy Tahoe without any permission. She's spending thousands on personal field trips to Selma, Alabama, where she's more interested in the development of Alabama than the people of Dolton, Illinois.
I'm all about the movement and the progress of developing areas such as Selma, Alabama.
Spent $22,000 just to walk across the bridge with Andrew Holmes, who is also a problem. Don't worry, we'll get to him sooner than later. If you want to catch up on those videos, the links are below. But this pork chop hog mock boss hog mayor is certainly out of control. She's obviously going to keep spending until the village is left completely destroyed, while the Cook County State Attorney, Kim Fox, she hasn't done anything about this at all. We're going to get into that $500,000 check and what you can do to help. But first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Cook County, doesn't matter if you're in Dolton or not, I definitely want to hear from you. Drop Cook County below in the comments. The super city girl mayor managed to spin the village into a $5 million deficit from doing stuff like this. She wrote a check for over $561,000 without permission, and the board of trustees didn't find out about the expense until after the check was cashed. No money, especially $561,000, over $500,000, should be spent without anybody knowing about it. On top of that, 2 signatures were required for that check. But guess who signed for it? Mayor Pork Chop signed for it herself. No other signature at all. $561,000.
Just for the record, and the reason I guess I want all of the citizens to know why we're so adamant about this budget and what's going on. May 12, 2021, a resolution was passed. The following persons are hereby authorized to be added as signatories for all city accounts: Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Village Clerk Allison Key. Any prior signatories or individuals authorized and hereby removed from the accounts, prior authorization is revoked. Number of signatures required are a combination of both signatures. At the approval of payment by the village board, each check shall be signed by the mayor and the clerk. We have a $500,000 check signed by Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Y'all wonder why we worried about the money? This is why we worried about the money. $561,000 check with one signature on there. It's a problem. That means that money is being spent, and after we don't find out till after the check's been cashed. That's why we up here complaining about it.
Shout out to Trustee Belcher. Trustee Belcher is all about transparency, all about accountability, and she is simply doing her job as a trustee. No one person is supposed to have the power to write checks in a public office for over $500,000. Nobody is supposed to have that much power, which is why 2 signatures are required. And this is what you call checks and balances. Now, Trustee Belcher and Trustee House, in real life, they have financial experience as CFOs, so they know all about financial audits. They know all about checks and balances. This city girl mayor does not. She's walking around acting like she's Scarface. Shout out to all the board of trustees holding her accountable. Trustee Norwood, Trustee Brown, Belcher, and House. These are the adults in the room, and the super city girl mayor is more like the 40-year-old, 2-year-old who's throwing temper tantrums and destroying the place. So who was this $561,000 check written out to? It was written out in April of 2022 to a construction group called K5 Construction. This company is responsible for a lot of the concrete work in the village of Dolton, like paving sidewalks. But here's another thing. The mayor can never do anything for the, quote, people without doing something for herself. So one of the first things she did was get her driveway paved. Before she became mayor, she reported that she still lived at her mom's house. And that was a project at the top of her list for taxpayers to pay for. Her own house, or to be exact, her own mom's house.
Whatever, I do what I want.
We're talking about Dolton, Illinois, population about 20,000 people. For years, you had Dolton residents begging to have their streets repaired. Look at this. And Mayor Teflon Tahoe's first year in office, you know what she did? She made sure that her streets leading up to where she was living, all of that got repaved using taxpayers' dollars. It was moves like this that allegedly got Tiffany Teflon Tahoe removed from the bank account by a judge. She was spending money like crazy, and she still is.
They do spend money like water, just being real.
But after a while, she was placed back on the bank account. Then recently, after she was exposed for that $150,000 Chevy Tahoe, she locked all of the trustees out of the system so they could no longer see what she's spending money on. We'll get into that in another video, but she retaliated against the board of trustees by totally kicking them out from being able to see the money that she's spending right now. Once again, overstepping boundaries and covering up her illegal activities. And this is why Mayor Porkchop changed her Facebook bio from Super Mayor
Super Mayor, hey,
to the most powerful woman in the Southland of Chicago.
So I will give my stance just so that I'm.
So as you can see, you got another one of these mayors, as you can see in Illinois, as a city that use money on herself. As you see, she's buying using money on cars and traveling and everything, and using her personal gains. And I feel like a lot of people don't really do their research when they vote for people like her or anybody, any other person in their cities, in their state, or also when it comes to United States as well. So, as you guys, I'm gonna pass it to you guys. Hey, so what do you think about this? What's your take on this? This mayor of the town of Illinois, how some people don't do their research on who to vote for.
Well, I'm gonna just make this clear. Remember, everything we say is our own opinion based. Don't go nothing we say based on face value. Because some people take our words and go away with it. And like, oh yeah, it's all opinionated. You get what I'm saying? So this is our own personal opinion. I just want to make good because when it comes to politicians and the judicial system and all that, I wanna put a disclaimer out there. So that's why I say it's always not good to always vote black. See, that's the problem with our community. We think because someone's black, rather than that they're gonna do something good with the black community. No, that's not always the case. You gotta understand something. People make them wait. Pretty much people make them make a certain type of way so you can vote them into office. And while they enter office, they don't do nothing they promise the people they will do. Prime example, this is the president we have right now is a good prime example, but he's not black. So push comes to shove. But you have another other mayor with the situation that happened in Chicago when Maxine Waters, I think it was her name. Could be wrong. Oh, her name was Maxine Waters, right, Jordan?
From
Chicago.
This is Chicago, or is it Larry Lightfoot?
Oh, Larry Lightfoot. One of them. But you see how they voted her in based on because they felt that she would be pretty much a good candidate to run Chicago, make sure put Chicago right back on the map. Pretty much the aspect of lower crime, the crime bill, making sure everybody's safe within the community. She didn't do that. She did the same exact thing that this mayor is doing right now. pretty much stealing, stealing the funding. Remember, allegedly. So because at the end of the day, people think, oh, because a woman is black, uh, I think she may do good in the community, but then later you find out that she's not. She's lying to the people, taking advantage of the people, and now the people are suffering because of the aspect of their expectation, thinking that they're gonna come there and do something fresh and something new within the community, and then do pretty much a goddamn thing. Now, not only that, but what like the content creator said, which I do agree with her on that aspect. No man should have that so much power to just sign off checks. No, you're supposed to always get a second person or third person to make sure to verify, make sure the check is going in the right spot. And that's not only that, but it kind of give you a hint how sometimes these mayors and these politicians steal money from the people because the simple fact is nobody's verifying where the money. They sign it off and say, okay, go ahead. They can use the money on their own personal gain. And I think that should be a crime, and I think that should be a federal investigation because I think it's not right because at the end of the day, that's all taxpayer dollars, Jordan and Hakeem, and they're taking advantage of it and using it on for personal gain. Because if that's the case, keep my money in my pocket. That's my
So for me, the only reason why she was able to do that because it's black folks. If this was a town full of white people, she would have been in jail by now. Black people, we follow this. I'm not going to snitch code, and she's a woman. We're not going to tear her down. When really she's tearing down the city. It's only gonna get to the point when white folks get into it for it to be rectified. Throughout history, as we know, go to the Pocket Watch at JT, go to Spencer Cornelius. They have shown us that a lot of these black folks are messing over black people. Like, it's just like our face just say, please come and take my money and do me bad. You can't trust nobody until somebody show you that they really about business. You know what I mean? And then the mayor does it with so much bravado. Like she really doing something, because after this, she's not going to be nothing after this. She ain't gonna have no money. Like she ain't gonna be able to do this if it was a white town. We all know this. Most corrupt white folks go to jail in white cities. When they start figuring shit out, they go to jail. She's able to do this and stay on this for so long because it's a bunch of black people.
For me, and for we as our black people, we always fall for we okie doke. We like when a black person, we always do that. I mean, and I can see we're changing a little bit, but we always feel like when a black person, black man or black female, a black woman, when they talk a good game, it's like we feel something about we feel something about that, and we always fall for that okie doke, not knowing you gotta look at that history or what the actions that they're doing research, and we always fall for it. Mm-hmm. Always fall for somebody that talks a good game, even some also white folks, like I say, some white folks, as in Joe Biden. I remember that's the same we said. If you ever think about vote for Trump, don't vote for me, then you're not black.
Yep.
And some people fall for that, especially diehard Democrats. When they fall for that, you know what? Joe is right, even though he's not black. Joe is right. Same thing with the mayor of Illinois, that small town Illinois. She was charismatic, as she would say, and that's how she got the voters. And I would say majority of the world is probably black women. And then once you got voted her in, and then a couple years go by, you see that there's more problems going on in the city, and where's the money to be fixing the roads, fixing the community. But as you can see, she's using the money for personal gains, buy her a truck, taking these trips and everything, and going down to Selma, Georgia, when she's using the money to go to a different state instead of using the state for her town of Illinois. It's crazy. And then also I saw another I did another research on her and everything, as she was that she fired one of the I gotta look again, but she has fired like one of the police chiefs and then she added somebody in there, and I believe that they was rumored that was dating. I'm looking at later on if I can get it. But anyways, as us as black people, I know when we see black people, we see when they try to run for office, we want to see somebody in our complexion running for something. I get all that. You know, I used to get that when I was young. But if they're not showing their action what they're supposed to do, or any action that does has the past to try to help out their community, you cannot vote for them. You cannot vote for them. You know, and it keeps hurting us in the community. It keeps hurting us. It's like we want to take 2 steps forward, three steps forward, and then we have a situation. We see a person running for office and everything, and we feel so good about it. And then 3-4 years later, we take a 3 or 4 steps back and everything. It's very, very important to do research on everybody, not just blacks, whites, whatever, whoever's running and everything. If you want to see the better community, if they're not if they're not talking about the views that you want to see, and they don't have no type of proof or action of what they're trying to do and everything, don't do it. Please don't do it, because if you keep doing it, we're gonna have this in our future generation, our next generation, and the next generation on that. We have to be smarter and vote for the right people in office to take care of their business, what they're supposed to be doing, that we believe in.
Yeah, you made a lot of good points, and not only that, but shout out to Joe No Hurnham in the chat, Ken Dog, and also the lovely Sherry Bryant after being here so far. Happy Friday, guys. Make sure when you walk in, make sure you hit that like button. Very important to put us in the algorithm. You already know what time it is. Yeah, but Jordan, you do make a good point on the aspect of us being more diligent when we going into voting. That's why I say, and I mean the problem is that too. We also have an issue with black people not also voting as well. We always thinking like, oh, we don't need to vote. The voting system is a scam. It's not going to really benefit us as a long haul. But now they see the reason why you don't vote. They put people in office, and look, the same people they put in office, the same people that's robbing. That's robbing from you and then taking away from the community, because the aspect is you don't see how important it is to vote. Now when it comes to our people. When it comes to black folks, hey, shout out to you, Gold. What's going on? Welcome. He just got to Houston in time to tune in. Welcome, Gold. Welcome. I know you see already what's going on in the other space, so you say, hey, let me get a clear-headed mind. Yeah, but so that I say that's one of the issues we have as people, that we just focus on one particular thing, which is color or race, and not really voting what we actually need in the community. That's my only issue. That's why I'm like, okay, cool. I used to be like that too. I'm like, man, vote them in because they black. But then the same people that you vote in that's black is the same people that's gonna hurt you at the long haul. Go ahead, Tim.
The thing about it is, we need to stop being very emotional about politics and about just life in general when it comes to skin color and complexion, and start focusing on the intent of a person. She got married in there because she was a black woman.